Good evening, yogis, meditators. Give us a couple moments to let people drift in. Welcome again, one of our new tech support co-leaders, Keith. Thank you, Keith, for co-hosting, and I see Howie G is also here to share a few things later. So we have a dream team tonight. I'm happy to see all of you. Just as you drift in, just after a few more people are here, we will check in, just say hello to each other. But nice to see Kitty there, even though the camera's not on, but nice that you're here. Hey, Kitty. Okay. So the more the merrier on the cameras, and gives us an opportunity to see each other, to do a little stealth metta, wish all the little boxes and the people in the boxes, each one with an incredible life, brings a great lifting power to our community. So please feel free to unmute and say hello so you can hear each other's voices as well. And then we will practice together, which is the main purpose. So don't hesitate to unmute.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all.
Hello from San Francisco.
Is that Mark's voice I heard or no?
Dan.
Oh, Dan.
Hi.
Oh, hey, Dan. Now I see you up at the top.
Yeah. Hey.
Hello, everybody from Connecticut.
Hello, Jason. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello from Ocean Park, Washington.
Heard something about Washington, but a little bit quiet.
Hello from Burlingame.
Hey, David. John from Texas.
Hi from BC.
Mary from Santa Barbara.
There's Barbara from Kamloops, and and then I saw Leith from Edmonton. Wait, Leith, you're from Edmonton, right? That's right.
Robin from
Maryland.
Washington.
Great.
Sorry.
Welcome, Robin.
Thank you.
Mary from Santa Barbara.
Hey, Mary.
Hey.
Hello from Berkeley.
Hey, Margot.
Somebody's kitty.
My cat from Maryland.
Great. Welcome, humans and cats.
Patricia from Edmonton.
Oh, hello, Patricia. Glad to have you back. Okay, so crunch time here. Not just kidding. No pressure here at all. It's just unfolding present moments. The beauty of our practice is we can both open our hearts to the conditions of the world, be realistic and honest about our situation, and at the same time rest in that place where nothing's happening really except 6 experiences, where there's no shadow of any historical experience, but much more a living and immediate one. So that's the opportunity of direct experience, of living Dharma, is that we experience ourselves directly, and at least for a time, not historically. because we know that we are great at thinking about ourselves and living in the second-hand version of us, and not so good at just experiencing ourselves. And so practicing together, practicing with ourselves alone together, we recover the firsthand, the reality of your life, right where life touches you. We close our eyes and feel the immediacy of that sense of seclusion, knowing that if we're feeling that the dark of the inside, the shape and the form of our body, the living quality, if we're feeling that, we know we're here. We know that the past is just a memory and the future just a dream. There's just this. And we let ourselves be fully immersed in this firsthand experience. And what supports that so, in some ways, so reliably is acknowledging, experiencing that ever-present, what Suzuki Roshi calls the ultimate fact, that you are aware here. And if we let that awareness here meet our sitting body with its senses, with its sensation, there's inevitably, without trying to make anything settle, inevitably there's a settling. And without trying to quiet our minds, inevitably there is a quieting. Just from having our attention mingling with, being intimate with our bodies. So close that the idea of body just gives way to sensations. And what becomes quite obvious and quite calming once we get used to it is to feel the sensations that are created when our body breathes. Feel them intimately and enjoy them, one half breath at a time. With emptying our mind of its usual fixations, obsessions, and filling it with the reality of this moment's sense experience of breathing, of sitting. Just this moment, just this body, just this breath. Requiring no strain or tension, just being lucidly aware, resting in that state of being aware, supported by the sensations that help anchor us here. And of course, as long as we're here, we'll also be visited by a range of sense experiences. Sounds will come, moods will come, thoughts will come. Range of sensation. And we meet each experience when it moves to the foreground of our awareness. We meet it graciously, welcoming. not doing anything about the present experience, not undoing anything, not fixing anything or figuring anything out, just being aware of things just as they are. And as they pass, we settle back into our bodies. Simple awareness of body and breath. And anytime there's a realization that you've been just drifting in an imaginary world, thinking, planning, remembering, and just acknowledge that there's now mindful awareness of having mindfulness come back online. Now aware, and we relax and find our body again. Just this moment. because mindfulness only wants to know the presently arising experience and how it behaves. Every moment then is a new beginning. Can always begin again. No past, no future, just what there is. Just this body, breath, sounds, moods, thoughts. Whatever's here. This is how we let go a little, and then let go a lot. Just this moment. If the mind sinks into dullness, as soon as you become aware of it, just acknowledge that simple fact. This is dull. And feel free to refresh yourself, begin again. Posture, breath, simple fact of being aware, and just resting alertly in that state of being aware, supported by the body and breath, and whatever becomes predominant. Just as we did last week in these last few minutes of the sitting, just let go of any primary anchor or body or breath. Simply rest in a state of being aware, uncaused, just your natural state of being aware. And then just see what shows up. Maybe your body, maybe your breath, maybe sounds, maybe moods, maybe thoughts, but simply rest in this authentic, natural state. Just be aware and see what pops. Nothing to do or undo, fix or figure out, just being aware. Don't do anything with your mind. Just be aware. Stop meditating. Just be aware. As always, pleasure to sit with you. Open my eyes and see all your faces. Humans. Very blessed to have the support of as I often think of holding us here, holding us to our practice, to being awake. It so easily devolves in trying to do this alone. And even online, you can feel the shared support, commitment to stay with it. So thank you. While it's fresh, I always like to check in to see if there are any comments, questions, topics that emerge from the practice or your life. Always curious what happens when you take off the training wheels and just let yourself be aware without directing and connecting and sustaining, which is, a very important element of it's the way we condition our minds to be mindful, but what that makes possible is the revelation of what is unconditioned in us, which is unborn, uncaused. Which is just the natural state of being aware. It's that kind of funny paradox that's our natural state, but only and unconditioned. But only those who tend to train their attention a little bit tend to be able to smell the fragrance of it, just be able to rest in that state of being aware. So any comments, questions, topics? We always, I think Simba is going to break the ice. Thanks.
I'm Simba. I really love that meditation. You have really a soothing voice, and I liked how you didn't talk the whole time, right? You just kind of came in at different times, and I wrote down, I have a little meditation reflection thing book. I keep it in my purse, and I have a small purse, so it's important, right? But just the concept of beginning again, right? That we can always do a reset, a do-over. We don't have to. I love this. I have PTSD and some other stuff, and I recognize that I don't have, the story is not as important as what I do in the ending. The beginning isn't out of my control, right? I'm a child, trauma, whatever. And then but I don't have to relive that story. I don't have to tell that story over and over again. And a lot of people, I think, get caught up in it. But it was just what a great meditation. I lead a meditation group in my AA meeting, and it's dual diagnosis. It's a wonderful meeting. It's amazing, with alcoholics with mental illnesses. And, I love saying I have a mental illness. A lot of people say mental health issues. It's an illness, right? Alcoholism is a disease. It's a disease of the mind.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take up too much time, but I will definitely, I'm going to use your YouTube, one of your two videos from my meditation, because I just enjoyed it. And I'm going to be a follower now. I'm not a follower of many people, but I will definitely tune into you. Yeah.
Thank you. And glad you're with us and glad you're doing good support work in the world. And that's what we're made for.
That's
anyway,
right.
Just for as far as everybody else goes, I just want to even though I may be speaking to you, Simba, I'm speaking to everybody. When I say begin again, this is there's a reason for it, not just that you can begin again and start fresh, and that's a beautiful thing, but it's a reminder that mindfulness, being mindful, doesn't have a destination in time. It's not aiming for not aiming for the future. It's not aiming for the end of the sitting. It's not aiming. So its whole point is realized in the present moment. And that's why every moment is a new beginning, because it's going nowhere. The whole of our practice is an unfolding now. It's not going somewhere. So when we're, beginning, when we say begin again, that assumes we begin and end, but we really don't end in our practice. It's always beginning. It's always now. So that's kind of why I do that.
Oh, thank you. Namaste.
Robin, please feel free.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. So I normally practice for 30 minutes. I've been practicing for about 12 years now, and I practice almost every day. And when I come to Sangha, sometimes it goes longer. And tonight I noticed that, so when it goes longer, I just start to struggle. And the struggle is I think I want to like be done or something, or and I'm not sure if it's boredom, maybe it's just habit. But tonight I noticed, maybe it was your guidance tonight, or I heard it more clearly this time, there was more ardency. And so, but I noticed that there would be this little kind of handoff between ardency and effort. And I don't know if that makes sense. There was more of this diligence and willingness to just keep coming back and starting over, which isn't normally the case. Normally the case is like, am I just going to check out now? And then I struggle, and then I'll go, okay, I'll pay attention to the breath for 2 breaths or whatever. And then I like check out again. And I was just wondering if you have any words of wisdom to help me with that hump beyond, I would say even beyond 25 minutes. Like when I get to that place, I never seem to be able to really stay in a practice much longer that. And I do retreats a couple of times a year, and the same thing kind of happens there. I do have ADD. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I was just wondering if you could help.
Cool. Be happy to say something. I'm not sure that this could be a whole Dharma talk, but if when we come to the mark that you're used to ending, that's natural to have an impulse, to have it. It's like a neurological pathway that's been well entrained. So that's not surprising that impulse comes. But in a way, you could consider that 25-minute mark as the beginning of the practice. That's really where the action is. And what I mean by where the action is, to be able to pay attention to what that state is that comes. You described it as, just I'm done, and then I start to struggle. So each of those little things, the thought I'm done, just to notice, oh, there's the thought I'm done. I is done. So a little identity, the one that began, the one that ended, it's all imaginary, but I's done. And then there is some aversion that follows that. So what does aversion feel like? And we feel that. And then what does struggle feel like? What is struggle? What does that mean? Is it a story of struggle, or is there tension? Is there agitation? Oh, what's agitation? So everything in that is grist for the mill, is actually equal opportunity for mindful attention that in a way helps us develop equanimity much more than the 25 minutes that we're used to. Because that then presents things that mimic inevitable things in our life that are not so easy to be with, or that we're not used to being with. And to be able to gain the confidence that you can be with the moment of struggle, you can be with a moment of should be over, or a moment of what's wrong with me, whatever it is that comes, to be able to treat it as just another thing to pay attention to, not to think about, not to analyze, not to figure out. Mindfulness is not interested in that, but mindfulness is very interested in, oh, this is struggle. Oh, I want to finish this, or whatever it is that's showing up. And that is the practice.
So, just getting curious about the experience of whatever it is, and as it changes,
the whole
just
sequence.
staying interested, but not making a story about it or
No,
a problem of it. But
because mindfulness will pull out the stickiness, because mindfulness doesn't push, doesn't pull, doesn't build a story. It just notices, wow. And so you're literally replacing moments of reactivity, moments of building a case for the prosecution against the practice. You're replacing it with, okay, this too.
Okay, and then that's also compassionate as well. So
That
thank
is
you.
the highest compassion, is to be with things as they are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying it, because you're not alone. And I'll just say one more thing about the 25-minute mark, or whatever point where someone wants to end. It's often an imbalance that happens. We start to feel our energy wane, and so we may have some dullness, and then not enough energy, and then we have some tranquility and not enough energy, so we tend to start having sinking mind, and then we don't want to fall asleep, and then we start fighting with that, and there's a whole hindrance attack that starts to kick in, and that's, again, the hindrances are the practice. So to be able to navigate those states I find maybe one of the more greater opportunities for liberation from being just at the effect of our hindrances.
Okay, good. Yeah,
you.
you're right. For me, it's not sloth and torpor, it's restlessness and aversion
There you go.
comes up, and then my energy gets really wired up, and
Okay, so for
that's
you,
when
it would
that's
be,
when I struggle against it. So I should just notice it and allow it and be
that's right,
curious
and work
about it.
with dropping in a little bit of the unconditional quality of calm, or tranquility, or ease, or spaciousness, all the things that tend to have as a byproduct a little bit more calm.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck. Lisa, please feel free.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can.
I have a similar kind of thing, but it happens in my body. Like I was just like around 30 minutes or so, I'm like, oh, my feet are falling asleep. Oh, I should stand up, but I don't want to move. Like I get like a lot of physical sensation. And
Great.
now it's over and I'm sitting in the same position and I feel totally fine. So I don't know what that's about,
Well,
but
we call that dharma pain, or dharma dukkha, which is just the stuff that emerges in the quiet, but it's not any problem, and it's good practice to sit with it. And if you can meet it with a balanced mind, great. If you're not able to, then it's actually quite wise to refresh your posture if you need to.
okay.
But when you do that, you've probably heard this many times before, when you make any kind of change in your posture, that you don't break the continuity of attention. You do it, you make all those little changes with the same relaxed attention as you would just noticing your body breathing or just sitting quietly. So each thing is equal. So not to make a reactive or sudden movement if you can, but it's fine to move.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else before we shift gears? Okay, I saw someone's hand, but no unmute, but no. Okay,
I see
Melinda, looks like
Melinda's
you want to
hand
say
up,
something.
Howie. Melinda seems to be trying to get some attention, it looks
Yeah,
like.
Melinda, please feel free to. You have to unmute though.
Okay, I got that. I've been having a really hard time. I can't find myself on the screen, so I didn't know how to do that hand thing.
It's okay.
Thank you so much, everybody, for everything, and how you're always a gem for me. So I don't know if I'm gonna really be on topic or not, but I have, I guess, questions or something about being mindful in the face of my dog is in his dying process. And I don't want to cry. And I feel like I'm being more present. Perhaps it's because I'm no longer in a human relationship, which is a good thing. So maybe I'm just, I don't know. I feel like I'm being more present. I've had many dogs and in this death than in others, in his process. And um, I don't know. I guess I had questions about, I don't know what it is, what I was thinking, but I'm not judging myself and how I'm doing or what am I doing wrong or what am I, it's been a very different process. He turned into, his instincts came alive in a way that I've never seen before. He started going kind of wacko 2 nights ago, bringing every blanket, every bed, anything he could find, and in different parts of the house and trying to get comfortable, and was very uncomfortable.
Oh.
And it was really painful to watch. And, I tried to help him get comfortable. And anyway, a friend of mine who has been in this process a lot with dogs as well, she said he's in his instinctual mode where he's trying to find a den. He's trying to find a place that's a really comfortable place. And at first that broke my heart of like, you have 5 beds and you have me, and why aren't you comfortable? But anyway, he was wrestling with his own stuff and with being comfortable and being in pain, and he's still here. He may have a couple days left. I don't know. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought. I guess just how to be mindful in the face of loss, and the permanency of that.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you for, sorry about your loss. I mean, because you're losing your animal as we lose everything. And it's not easy. What comes with that is grief. Grief is, I was just leading a retreat up in Canada this weekend, and it may not be useful to you, but I was trying to make a distinction between grief, which is really the experience of letting go and the process of letting go, and with it comes all kinds of waves of just heaviness or loss, but they're momentary. They come and they go, and I try to distinguish the natural experience of letting go that we experience as grief versus losing with aversion, which creates this really awful, painful, clinging feeling. But grief can be quite a beautiful heart tenderizer, as I'm sure it has been for you in your life. And so we just try to incline toward, letting go in the most graceful way we can, just without the aversion. And if there's aversion, though, we want to be compassionate and forgiving about that too. Not hold yourself to any particular way that you should be or how mindful. Just let yourself grieve. Let yourself experience the whole range. I've been talking a lot lately about and I'm sure I've repeated a lot at Mission Dharma, but a lot about this contact I had with a rabbi many years ago when I was in Israel, and he was telling me about the tribe of priests. There used to be tribes, the Kohen Gadol, because my last name is related to the tribe of priests. And it turns out that when someone in a Kohen's family dies, whether animal or human, or when someone dies, the rabbi is not allowed to go into the church or into the synagogue. They're actually meant to just grieve, just suspend their faith, not be busy being following some form, just experience the loss. But also just appreciate, to the degree you can, appreciate the moments that you have, and you're already doing that, I'm sure. So Nothing to add except I'm sorry for the process that you have to go through. It's painful to lose. There's just no way around it. It's it's both so natural and shocking every time.
He's got a big physical presence too. I have a little 15-pound dog, but Bobby's 68 pounds.
Wow.
And he's a big beauty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
thank
hopefully well, and maybe we shouldn't even talk about what happens next, but if there's a space left, which there will be, that physical space, just fill it with love and compassion and yeah. Sorry. Anyway, good to see you, Melinda. Okay, let's just let the inevitability of all our losses just take that in for a little bit, remembering that reality was the Buddha's guru, not a human, but just the reality of impermanence and change and uncertainty. Death is certain, but the time of death is uncertain. That's that itself. It's just true. So I think we still have someone's, oh, there you go. Make sure everybody's microphone is off. So I don't have a lot tonight, except I would just want to tell you the stray thoughts I was having this afternoon that may be relevant to what's happening right now. I was having this memory of the pandemic when a bomb dropped into all of our worlds, and Mission Dharma, that used to be this vital sangha that lived in a big church, all of a sudden ended up in this online format. And the good news about it is all the communities that I've had the great good fortune of being part of all over North America and beyond for the last almost 40 years. Many people from the different communities converged on Mission Dharma's virtual sangha, and we proceeded. And yet all of us were going through the uncertainty of how things were going. People were dying every day, and we knew so little about this virus, and there was such a state of suspended happiness, the sense of I don't know when it's going to be over and what my life's going to look like, and people were in kind of a state of fight, flight, and freeze. And increasingly, almost every week, it became clear and clear to me, meeting with the Sangha and being so blessed to meet with the Sangha, that this is what we were made for. This is exactly what we have been practicing for years, to be able to accommodate the whole, these winds that were blowing through our lives of loss, of change, of uncertainty. And that is the heart of what is possible in our practice. This is what we were made for, to be able to sit in the middle of things, to rest in a well-being that doesn't depend on how things turn out, to actually be for other people. and why I said this is what we were made for, I really saw us as kind of Dharma warriors, being a reliable, a stable refuge to whatever degree we could for other people who were not in any way, shape, or form trained to know and embrace the reality of uncertainty, to know and embrace the reality that we literally never know what's going to happen next. And that's the truth. To open to the reality that any dependency on things turning out the way we want them to, or knowing when they're going to, any dependency on conditions at all is dukkha, is suffering. And most people are not wired for that. Most people are wired for samsara, for an endless wandering, waiting for conditions to change, to be different, for their candidate to win. And then waiting in a state of freeze, fight, flight, freeze. And I know that's happening right now, and even among meditators, just such a consequential election. But this is what we were made for, to be able to find, even in the midst of winter, an invincible summer, as Albert Camus put it, to be able to find in the middle of all this, right in the middle of it tonight, independent of how things turn out, a place in us that is unshakable, that is already home, that's already peaceful, and a peace that can pervade even when things don't go the way we want them to, or even when we experience loss. And what we're made for is to try everything we can to support the to commit ourselves to supporting goodness and wholesomeness and harmlessness wherever we can. And that may be the candidate that I would say 99% of us are supporting, but I don't assume that. But we are trained to be able to do everything we can to be free of so much self-preoccupation that we're free to help in whatever way we can, and to know whether or not it turns out the way we want to or not is beyond our will and our wish. This is what Buddhas know. And this is what we're trained for. We're not trained to just sit together and freak out together, even though there's something sweet and cozy about that. But we're here to remind each other that Buddhas, which just means people who are awake, they sit in the middle. They don't depend on which wind is blowing through our life, whether it's praise or blame or gain or loss or fame or shame, pleasure or pain. It doesn't matter. Each is equal in the light of awareness. Because remember, mindfulness, it has no aim for the future. It only aims at seeing with clear comprehension the presently arising experience. And that's both the beginning of our practice, it's the path of our practice, it's the end of our practice, to be able to sit in the middle. And in a way, what we were trained for is to let go of our dependency on outcomes, to learn how to let go, how to let things be just the way they are. And again, letting go doesn't mean you don't try everything you can. With a family member, you do everything you can to bring relief to them. But whether they cooperate with your wish for them, completely beyond your will and wish. So I drop in, I figure as we enter this last week of the election cycle, it's very important that we remember those classic equanimity phrases, reminding us that we are part of a sea of conditions. Even our own mind and body are operating according to conditions outside of anyone's control. Behind this mind-body process, there's no controller really. And there are just wholesome and unwholesome forces in us and in the world. And so classically, we remember the reality, the truth, and we actually embrace it, that all beings are the inheritors of karma, conditions, actions. Their happiness or their unhappiness depends on their conditions, not on my wish for them, not on my will, not on my wish. And then another one is, although, and this is if it doesn't look good, although I wish things were otherwise, or something's really hard to be with, I know, although I wish things were otherwise, things are as they are, continually reminding ourselves, things are as they are. Yata bhuta, as things as they are. And then with communities, with the world, with our loved ones, especially those who we tend to be so affected by and want to make their lives work and heal and everything. The last one is, I care about you. And from the collective to the immediate to the individuals, I care about you, but I cannot keep you from suffering. My heart breaks for you, but I cannot keep you from suffering. I will do everything I can for you, but I cannot keep you from suffering. So that helping to balance our caring hearts with the understanding of what the limitations of what we can actually do. And if we actually practice and rely on our experience of equanimity that inevitably grows in our practice, it's what we were made for, we can actually be real refuges for everyone right now. And so rather than thinking of yourself as the more neurotic part of you that is just waiting with bated breath to see what happens in the election, just fake it. You're the Buddha. What the Buddhas know is whatever arises passes away, and the Buddhas know that we don't know what's going to happen. And they rest in the middle. So may we all rest in the middle. May we all let go into the river of change. As the Hopi elders say, there's a river flowing now very fast. It's so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and they will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. See who's in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we're to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment we do, our spiritual growth and journey come to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your vocabulary, from your attitude. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for. this is what we're born for, so let's practice. May we all be liberated. May all beings be liberated. May we come out of this infection that has been plaguing us for a long time in this country. May all beings grow in equanimity no matter what happens. Thank you. And when I said the word infection, I didn't mean the virus. I didn't mean COVID. Anyway, please feel free to, actually, Howard Gelman is going to give us a few little announcements. Please stick with us for a few moments, and then I'd love for us to say goodnight to each other, okay?
Everybody, hi. I hope you can hear me. I assume you can.
Perfectly.
Just want to mention first and foremost, Donna is the reminder that we give you every week. It means generosity. I think we may even have some new people here tonight, so you're very welcome. I just want to remind everyone that sharing, helping this Sangha is the way to keep it going, keep it alive. Volunteering and money keeps Howie and the teachers that sit in for Howie ready to come back each week for 35 plus years. So I hope that you can take a look either at the email that you got. I also put in the chat ways that you could contribute via Venmo or check or other ways. And your donations are valuable and much appreciated. If you cannot afford it, of course, you're welcome regardless. The other thing I want to say is that Howie's got some upcoming things, some local, some not. Looks like on November 7th through 10th, Howie's going to be in Houston for all you Texans. And in November 22nd to 24th, it's Vancouver. And lastly, there's going to be something open to everyone via, by the way, those are retreats. And then there's going to be from December 14th to 18th online, a retreat called Opening to Love and Wisdom, which you can find out more about if you look at the email letter that you got today. Also locally, for those in the Bay Area, on the 10th, look up also in that email, there's stuff happening with Eugene Cash on November 10th. There's an Ocean Beach cleanup on the 23rd, which sounds fun and beachy keen. And lastly, December 7th, for those who identify as LGBTQIA plus GNC, everyone is welcome to join in the San Francisco Buddhist Meditation Center for a day of silent meditation practice. So look all those up. And thank you in advance for your Dana. And it's just great being with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks, Keith, for co-hosting. And please feel free to unmute and say goodnight to each other. It's really a pleasure to be with you. And
Namaste. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Howie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Well,
everyone,
for being
here. Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Good night, everyone.
Fabulous.
Good
Good night, everyone.